What is going on, Fantasy Balls, team managers? Here we are again, once again, doing the recap of the week for week 13. Um, I just would like to make a public service announcement, or more aptly, a public apology to the Upstate Division. I fucked us this week, boys. I did. I talked a lot of shit, really. The dumpster is going to come right now. I don't know if you can hear that, but whatever. Um, Talked a lot of shit in last week's recap about how the Upstate Division is clearly the better division. Um, and, the Long Island Division took that personally. They did. They took that to heart, and they came back outside of John and all fought. And every single outside of John, Long Island team won this week. Chumba was the only Upstate Division team to get the W this week, but again, playing against John, so But that's where we're going to start today. I am not working today, so I'm getting this done early, but I don't keep any paper at home most of the time. I have sticky notes, so I didn't really write a script because I wasn't... Anyway, so we got Juice Balls going head-to-head against the Clubhouse Space Cadets. This was the game of the week, if you all remember. A lot of shit talk was going on. John came in real cocky, talking about how he was going to win. They made the personal bet about the game. Not only did John lose the bet, John also scored the fewest points in the league, so that means John has a double shotgun this week. Tough look. John only used 7 starts out of 14, while Chumba had 11 out of 14. Kind of tipped the scales, but Chumba only won by about 90 points. I say only, as yeah, that's still a lot. But whatever, it's fine. Chumba started in the negative, and while John only had 4 points, John couldn't capitalize on that, and that's just, is it poor managing? Is it poor team morale? I don't know. But you hate to see it. Next up, we got Team Badussi going against Team Sternly. I'm telling you, boys, these Badussies, they're going to be dangerous come playoff time. They keep on winning. They keep on finding a way. By week 5 or 6, we were like, ugh, these Badussies, they suck. Easy win every week. They're coming back. They're now 6-7. I know they still have a losing record, but boy, they're fighting. They've been putting up a lot of points. Put up 296 this week. Sternly didn't have his best game. The Sternleys, they struggled a little bit. But Connor had some big days, and it's tough to fight what we're seeing with the Badussies. It begs the question that if they didn't stumble so much out of the gate, would they be at the top of the league right now? It's a conversation that needs to happen. They had a tough start, but they've strung a couple together, and they've putting up lots of numbers. So look out for Team Badussi if the playoffs end up coming their way. Most interesting matchup of the week, I think, this week is the Drippy Droppers versus Lazy Team Name. Now, as we all recall, Alec was blessed by a perfect game this week. 71 points, was it, right? All right, let me make sure I get this right. 71 points. Where's this fucking guy? Am I looking on Eddie's team? Drippy Droppers. Yeah, 71 points. So if you don't know, in our league, if you throw a no-hitter, it's an extra 10 points. If you throw a perfect game, it's an extra 15 points. So a perfect game, not only do you get the 15 from the perfect game, but you get the 10 from the no-hitter too. I didn't know it worked that way. So really, you get an extra 25 points for the perfect game, plus the 9 points for each out you get. Each strikeout, which he had 9, was a point. No walks, obviously, no hits, no runs to lose points, and the W is an extra 2. All added up to 71. Honestly, kind of surprising that German was... What? Okay. Was on anybody's team. Previous 2 starts, -19, -15, and then 71 with the perfect game. But even with a 71-point single game performance, Alec managed to fumble this game. Fumble this matchup with Eddie. Lost to Eddie, who's in a different country. Alec, what's going on? You owe us a video of you in the shower. Full frontal was requested by Brochard, but you know, I can't say that's not my place to do. But this is an all-time fumble by the Drippy Droppers, and what a fucking game by the Lazy Team Names. I know Eddie took this one personally. Once that 101 day happened, and we all talked all our shit. After that game, 64, 92, 58, 71. Eddie was relentless coming back, did not give up. And that's the kind of grit we need in our fantasy league. So, Eddie, congrats. I feel like you might have earned being real, but I can't make that judgment on behalf of the league. So, hands off for me. Now we have the Big Bruisers and PED Users taking down the number one team, Team Wallach. Griff, again, Upstate Division just didn't have their best week. Even Chumba, who did get a win, only put up 298. Nobody in the Long Island Division this week. Oh, wait, that's not true. Alec did. Alec put up 300. Alec's the only one in the Upstate Division that put up 300 points. But still, everybody in Upstate Division kind of struggled this week outside of Alec, who got blessed with a perfect game and still managed to lose, so I'll still hold it against him. Griff didn't have his best game. Big Bruisers and PED Users take over the number one scoring team in the league. They've passed me. I had a terrible week. We'll get there in a minute. But are now in the lead for number one scoring team in the league. Only by, I think it was like 10 points or something. It's really not a massive margin. Let me see. I can pull it up real quick. I have it right here. Big Bruisers have scored 4,565.5 points. Backup bullpen catchers have scored 4,558 points flat. After that is Team Wallach at 4,452.5. So, again, not a huge margin that they took over the top scoring position, but crown over to Brochard. He earned it. Both these teams used 12 pitchers, so it was a fair matchup, which just, sometimes your team doesn't get there, and Griff just had a tough week. Nobody really did great numbers, couple of negatives from the pitchers, but, it happens to the best of us. What really annoys me is that I fumbled the bag here this week. I had a terrible week as well, and this was my chance to take over, or at least tie Griff for the number one spot in the Upstate Division, try and get that bye week in the playoffs. I fumbled the bag. Terrible week by me. Honestly, I kind of gave up pretty early in the week. On Monday, I put up a -3 to Cameron's 44. Didn't think there was coming back from that. Next day, Cameron put up 68 to my 31. Pretty big margin. I made a bit of a comeback on Wednesday, and I thought, okay, maybe I have a chance, and I did not. After that, Cameron's team picked it back up again. I only outscored him three times this week. So, and one of them was less than 10 points. So, just a tough week for me all around. I didn't want to go in, try and changing up my team too much for a game that I figured I already lost. Not making excuses. I lost the game fair and square. Cameron had a great week, 336. But I didn't want to go dropping players trying to come back on a game that I give somebody up that I didn't want to. Happens. I fucked up. I missed out on a chance to maybe climb in the standings a little bit, but caps off to Cameron. Lowest scoring day was 10. Outside of that 110 day, 38.5. So Cameron had a pretty good week. Hope my team kind of gets back together. I had a bunch of terrible pitching performances. Let's see if I add it all together. I should have done this beforehand. 33, 43, or 42, 48. I had negative 48 from 4 pitchers, and that was like total negative 48. Like, they didn't finish in the positive at all. So that right there, it wouldn't have won me the game, but it's tough to win when you have 4 guys putting up negative, basically averaging negative 12. So, it is what it is. Looking forward, that's the standings. I'm at the scoreboard. Here we are. Looking forward, week 14. This is the extended week, gents. This week is slightly longer, right? All-Star break. So we have Monday today through Sunday. Not only that, but then we add on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week into this matchup. So next week's recap will be delayed a few days, so don't give me shit come Monday when the when the recap doesn't come out on Monday, because the week won't be fucking over yet. I'm looking at you, Chumba. Mr. I'm on summer vacation now. I have nothing better to do but bitch at the commissioner for not posting a fucking video. So things will be delayed a little bit. Be aware. Longer week means we have 20 starts available. Instead of our traditional 14, we now have 20 pitching starts available, so keep that in mind as well. Game of the week. We're going head-to-head, the first place teams, the placeholders versus Team Wallach, 8-5 versus 9-3-1. Going to be a big one, I think. These two teams have been kind of on a tear. I know Griff lost last week, but 9-3. He's the only team with 9 wins so far. Griff's been doing pretty good. He's been consistently at the top, quietly. Griff's not a big shit talker. He's not in the group a lot talking shit, but here he is once again at the top of the league. So that is our game of the week. Looking forward even more. I know that it is early July, but it's getting close on time to start thinking about fantasy football. I believe that Cameron still does not play fantasy football, so we'll need a replacement somehow, and likely in the Long Island division, so that's something we would need to think about. But if I'm assuming fantasy football is still on the table, don't need to get the wheels turning yet, just want to make sure that everybody's kind of in agreement. I will go over once again the vote from last season in the off season about fantasy football, to go over specific rules, to see all the changes so everybody is reminded and up to date. Outside of that, though, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's where we're at. So that is the week 13 recap. Good luck in week 14, and we'll see what happens this week. Long week, lots can happen. Catch you boys next time.